because this is having a direct influence on our forecast. As John was just mentioning, what we're seeing occur here is some moisture being thrown into our area from the far outer reaches of this system. Now, this storm still very, very large, even though it's been interacting with the mountainous terrain of Hispaniola this morning. I do want to show you that we are very lopsided on this storm, but it has held together fairly decently considering how tall these mountains are that it's been interacting with in Haiti. About over 10,000-foot mountains interacting with this storm. The reason that those mountains shredded apart is you have this horizontal motion going on with the storm. Once you start getting vertical air, thanks to the friction of those mountains, it does start to tear the storm apart a little bit. So most of the convection on the south side this morning, some of it starting to wrap back around the center. You'll notice the center is actually here a little farther to the northwest. You'd think it'd be down here embedded within all the convection, but that's just not the case. The center of circulation a little farther to the north, so that gives you an idea of just how large this storm is. Some moisture, as I mentioned, being thrown into our area from this system, but these are not rain bands that we're seeing this morning in our immediate area from Isaac. Here's a look at the latest on Tropical Storm Isaac. Maximum sustained winds right now at 60 miles an hour. It is continuing towards the northwest at 14 miles an hour. Expected to track through eastern Cuba, where there are some more mountains to contend with, and that should inhibit development as we go throughout the day on today and into early Sunday. But once it gets into these warm ocean waters on Sunday, we are going to expect it to strengthen pretty quickly, potentially into a Category 1 hurricane. That is why we do have a hurricane warning in place for portions of South Florida, the far southwestern tip of Florida through the Keys. As you can see, this air cone continues to move towards the northwest. Now, you may notice that our immediate viewing area is not in this air cone. However, that does not mean that we are, quote, out of the woods, so to speak. A lot of folks have been thinking, hey, we're out of the air cone, no worries here. Simply not the case. I want to go ahead and show you why that is. Here's a look at the wind field with this system. The yellow winds are where we have winds that are expected to be 39 miles an hour or greater. That is tropical storm force, and as you can see, it is expected to be through our entire area. This storm has tropical storm force winds extending 230 miles from the center, which means the storm is nearly 500 miles across. So a very large storm that we are expecting to skirt right along the coastline, really impacting the west coast more than us. But I do want to just point out that the Treasure Coast and Palm Beach County, even though we're not in the air cone, we certainly are going to still see some impacts from this storm. That's why we have a tropical storm warning in place. You'll notice the blue areas here for Palm Beach County down through Miami-Dade. Tropical storm warning, meaning tropical storm conditions are possible, or excuse me, are likely within the next about 24 to 36 hours. The yellow for the Treasure Coast is where we have a tropical storm watch in place. That means conditions are possible. However, a warning is a little bit more imminent. We also have a hurricane warning in place for the Keys and the far southwestern tip of Florida. So those are all the current watches and warnings in place. We do have some thunderstorm activity out there this morning. I want to go ahead and